was your like image or thought of golf before? Like, what did you think of it?
Same thing it is now. It's a super lame white man sport. To be
So
100%
how
honest
is
with you,
it
it is.
being, an African American male in a sport that really you're kind of by yourself in terms of
It
ethnicity?
is the worst thing in the world, honestly. I mean, racism exists. I don't care what people say. Discrimination definitely exists. And not everybody who discriminates is a racist. I understand that, but in golf, it's highly prevalent because golf is a sport that was always excluded based on your economic income and your impact. What lane are you in? And so, and a lot of times when people have money and then they see other people who have money who don't look like them, the first thing they do is, well, how'd you get in here? Wait a minute. Uh, is everybody else all right with this? It's like, so it gets weird, man. But I mean, I've seen a lot of challenges mainly because I've always vocalized the negative sides and the racist part and things that happen in this sport, especially, for people who watch golf or people who participate in golf. You look at the commercials for the first tee, they always talk about the 9 core values and respect and honor and blah, 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 blah. And when you actually get into the golf industry, none of those rules apply. The things that they try to teach people or the selling points that they give on TV of the traits that kids learn and the characteristics, most of the people who are in the game, and especially the people who are at the top, they don't abide by those rules at all. So it's really a double-edged sword. It's really a huge contradiction with that. And being a person who stands up and speaks out on that, I probably will see it worse than anybody else just because I refuse to be silent about it. So I believe that probably makes my road harder. But if I didn't say anything, the whole if you see something, say something mentality. And I feel if I don't say anything, then I'm just as bad as the people who are, putting things out there negative and mistreating people.
What's your advice for the kids who want to pursue a career and they don't see someone that looks like them in that career? So specifically like you in golf. So what's your advice for them?
That's hard. Um, First things first is find an old person. And they don't have to be in the career that you're trying to pursue. But find an old person who's really seen a lot of things and a lot of discrimination and racism, no matter if you're black, if you're Latino, whatever it is, if you're a woman, um, because you need somebody to really mentor you and to explain to you what you're about to embark on and explain to you how tough that road really can be. My coach, I remember I used to hit, it was weird when we first started. It was a 100-yard shot. And at first I wasn't hitting the green and he just sit there and talk trash to me. Old dude. My coach is super old. Um, and then I started hitting the green and he still talked trash. Then he said, "Oh man, well you're not hitting it close enough." I hit it closer. And he was like, "Well, you're not hitting the stick." And then I hit the stick. And he's like, well, you can't hit the pin again. And I hit the pin. I think one time I hit the pin 2 or 3 times in a row. And then he kept talking. I was like, and I remember, and it was extremely disrespectful. And I had to beg his pardon later. But I was like, man, are you ever just going to shut up? When is it ever good enough for you? And he looked at me and he was like, I want you to know the better you get, the more and the louder that they're going to talk. So there's nothing that you're going to do that's ever going to silence the critics. There's nothing that you're going to do that's ever going to shut them up. And as my success grew, I started to notice the exact same thing. When I won world championships, people said it was a hoax. I cheated somehow. It's on live TV. Someone threw the ball out there, and I'm like, but you have to remember that what you're doing is not for other people. So find that old person first, somebody who can really tell you the worst things that can happen. Um, and then the second thing I would do is arm myself to a point where it's not saying get a gun, people. So let's be very understanding and clear. I'm not saying arm yourself that way. Arm yourself with knowledge to a point where people can't tell you no. Always go above and beyond the board or above and beyond the code. So whatever it is, be the pinnacle of what professionalism looks like. You know, we've always heard that you have to be 4 times better and all this other stuff. I think that you have to set the tone. You have to be the benchmark. So put yourself in the best possible position where people can't say no, and then really listen to your heart, which goes back to the don't give up thing. You have to stick the path. It's gonna suck. It's really gonna suck. People think that being the only one is bad. Being the first one is worse, and I can promise you I've been down that road. Being the only one, that's all right, because somebody's done it before. They be like, yeah, I don't really like. But being the first,